Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, FA Well Centers. Welcome. And I am excited to go over this information today because the brain is just something I love to talk about. It's something that is so important in everything that we do. And we see massive decline in cognitive function going on at this time. And really everybody's at a loss. I mean, there's people trying to find drugs, trying to find solutions for it, but that does not ultimately prevent this from coming down the pike. And here's the deal: you cannot just out-treat Alzheimer's and dementia. That is not going to happen. So welcome everybody. Pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see you all over the country, all over the world. Let me know if Alzheimer's and dementia has impacted your life, whether that's a loved one, a parent, a grandparent. And it takes a big toll on the family. It takes a big toll financially. We're looking at almost $500 billion is spent every year on Alzheimer's care, on taking care of people that are having this cognitive decline. But here's the big thing to think about is by the time you start seeing symptoms in grandma or mom or dad or whatever, it's been going on for like 15 to 20 years that cognitive decline, that neurodegeneration, that it's this pre-Alzheimer's, pre-dementia state has been driven for that period of time. So let's get into it. Let's get into some of this research, some of these studies, and it's pretty fascinating. Two actually came out in a matter of a couple of weeks. One just a couple of days ago, this study in Brazil of over 10,000 people. Hey, Bob and Holly there, Holly in Nebraska, good to see you guys. So over 10,000 people were in this study in Brazil, and they were looking specifically at what were these factors that caused, in 6 to 10 years, they were tracking these people, what caused more cognitive decline, what caused more basically neurodegeneration in that brain. And what they found was that the number one factor was ultra processed foods. And that's how they describe this. And I'm going to give you my take on it. But here's what we look at with ultra processed foods. These are going to be fast foods. They were saying breads, crackers, cookies, ice creams. Looking at, hey Barb there in Scottsbluff, great to see you. So looking at even frozen dinners, all of these foods, noodles, the instant noodles, ramen noodles, all these different things. And so they were saying, the more processed foods that people ate, the greater the cognitive decline. Even 10% increase in the amount of processed foods. So that was a study that just came out a week or two ago. Another one came out of the United Kingdom that showed same type of things. They were looking at these ultra-processed foods, and what they found was the people that had a 10% increase in the amount of processed foods they ate had 25% increase in cognitive decline over the same period of time in people that did not eat processed foods, or they call these the ultra-processed foods. That is the American diet for most people, Sharon. Absolutely. Valerie, good to see you there in Cheyenne. So here's the deal. In 2016, 56% of the calories consumed in the standard American diet were these ultra-processed foods. So do you think that's going on right now in the United States? Absolutely. It's going on in Brazil. It's going on in the United Kingdom. I bet it's going on in Japan and China and Africa, all over the world, because that's the one great thing that we've exported as Americans, right? Is our standard American diet. Sad. I love that. So the SAD diet has been exported all around the world. It's the fast diet. And in one of the studies I was reading, they were like, oh, it's all about socio-economic. Every article now has to be brought back to, that it's not just, okay, it's what we do and it's life, but they're like, oh, it's, cheaper. I'm like, I don't think so. To get a bag of potato chips, think about this. Hey, Tamara, good to see you. Yeah, I have a problem with Diet Coke. Good to see you. I'll give you a couple ideas here in a second. So a bag of potato chips is probably like 1 to 2 potatoes, right? But you could get entire 5-pound bag of raw potatoes for the same price as that bag of potatoes. You can go, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I want to do a video where I go to the store and I show how you can eat on $10 per day or less for fresh whole food. Maybe it's not at a great store, maybe it's at Walmart or whatever, and you're not going to be able to go to Whole Foods and get the best organic, natural, whatever. And yet, if somebody really wants to eat a wholesome diet, it can be done. And that's what we see all the time with our patients. And it doesn't have to be $100 a day and all of these things. It can be done. And unfortunately, hey Nancy, good to see you. Unfortunately, it's kind of this cop out that they don't have enough money, so they have to go and buy these ultra processed foods. And I'm like, I don't think so. You can get we have a store here in town that does kind of like it's like the last place to go. They'll have some almost expired things and stuff like that. But still, you can go in there and get ground meat for $2-3 a pound, and it's a good quality source. You can get fruits and vegetables for less than $1 a pound. You can do good things. And so ultra processed foods, we know, is getting this cognitive decline. So ultimately, why is that? What is actually going on? Well, some of these foods are creating inflammation, and we know that certain fats are going to create more inflammation. So you've got good fats, which would be like butter, coconut oil, olive oil, avocados, some of these, whether that's a good saturated fat or a good omega-3 fat, those are going to be good to consume in the right proportions. The bad fats are going to be these vegetable oils, these vegetable fats. So looking at safflower oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, soy oil, all of these different oils like that are going to be very inflammatory. They stimulate this pathway, this prostaglandin pathway that is going to be ultimately inflammatory, where the omega-3s, the flax oil, the fish oil, some of those are going to stimulate the prostaglandin pathway that is anti-inflammatory. So if somebody's eating a lot of these ultra-processed foods, and thanks for the share there. If somebody is going to be eating these ultra-processed foods, we know that it is going to create this inflammatory process in the body. And then we get to really the big pink elephant in the room, and that's the blood sugar side of things. And we know that the more blood sugar spikes, the more insulin goes up. We know the more that it is going to drive neuroinflammation. And that's why people get neuropathy in their hands and feet. Type 2 diabetics, they'll lose toes, they'll lose legs, can't feel their feet, any of these different things. So we know this is happening day in and day out with people that are having blood sugar too high. And so again, if you look at what they're saying is ultra processed foods, we're talking about breads, crackers, cookies, chips, ice cream, frozen dinners, a lot of you go to 7-Eleven, all of these things. Guaranteed, if somebody's doing that, even 10-15% of their diet, one of the studies showed that 2 cookies, like 150 calories of these ultra processed foods was enough to cause this inflammatory process, to cause more cognitive decline, cause more neurodegeneration. So we've got to take a step back. We've got to say, okay, what is worth it? Is it worth it our taste buds? Is it worth it our convenience? Is it worth it for, man, I just don't have the time, or I don't feel like cooking tonight? Well, here's the deal. My lunch took what was it? 30 seconds to prepare. I had already made my eggs and veggies and stuff for breakfast. I had some frozen cauliflower rice. I threw that in the same skillet, put the lid on there, let that cook for about 5 minutes, and I had some leftover protein from dinner a couple nights ago, chopped that up, put that in there, stirred it up, let it warm up a little bit, put it in a container, put some avocado in there, put a little salsa in there to kind of give it a little bit of pizzazz, and that's my lunch. And how easy was that? And how much did that cost? That's a 1/4 pound of meat. If you have a pound of meat, that is, we're running at, let's say, $5 a pound. for what we're getting. And so that's $1.25. And then the bags of cauliflower rice, I used half a bag of cauliflower rice. I used some kale and Swiss chard from the garden this morning and sauteed that up. Half of an avocado. The avocado was $1, so we're at $1.75 plus that bag was half of that bag was $1. So we're at $2.75 for that lunch. A little bit of salsa, probably another 50 cents and just everything else. So $3.25, and it's a very good hearty meal. And it's going to satiate me all the way till dinner. And it was easy, it was quick, it did not take all this time and thought process and chopping. Hey, Carolyn, great to see you. Glad your digestion is doing better. Patricia, great to see you as well. So it doesn't have to be this crazy complex, oh my gosh, how do I get this done thought process. So here's the deal, guys. Eat real food. Get the junk out of the house. Don't even bring it in. That's the biggest problem. If it's there, if I've got something in the house, I'm going to eat it. And it's going to be going to get consumed. But if it's not there, I'm not going to go get in the car, go to the store, find a tub of ice cream, bring it home, and eat it. But if it's there, way, way easier than that. So one of the easy things you can do is even do some call ahead ordering. So like at your Kroger store or wherever you've got, put it in the computer, and so you're only getting things. So you're not wandering around, you're not grabbing this little extra thing here, grab that bag of chips there, but you order what you need to order and do that, and go either get it picked up or have them delivered to you. And do not give yourself a chance to buy a lot of extra stuff. So here's the deal, guys. Get that brain in as good a state as possible, and that is by not eating these processed foods, not causing that blood sugar to spike up, not causing all of this damage. So just like Carolyn there, no processed foods, no gluten, no sugar, sure has worked for oral thrush. Great job. It's really simple. It's not easy. It's not complicated. It's simple. But you've got to do it. You got to start moving your feet. Eat real food every chance you get, and you're going to preserve your brain. Good to see you guys. Take care.